Islam, Islam, Islam. Still need some more light, don't we? Hold on, fam. Gratitude for your patience. Islam, Islam, Islam. Lafia, Lafia, Lafia. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Hotep, hotep, hotep. Peace, peace, peace. Assalamu alaikum, assalamu alaikum, assalamu alaikum. Did I say Lafia, Lafia, Lafia? Power to the people, power to the people, power to the people. How my family doing today? I hope and pray that everybody is in a peaceful, high vibrational, loving, honest, free state of mind and feeling reward instead of punishment. But if you're getting a punishment, be grateful that you learned your lesson from the experience. Okay? It's important to stay positive about life, regardless what occurs or manifests, and understand that everything that, as we say, happen, when there's no happenings, law governs all events. And that's why it's important that you understand that law governs all events, because everything that's occurring is occurring for a reason. It's occurring because that's what we're creating with what we're doing and how we feel and how we perceive life. Because it takes a lot of energy to do all of this. And that energy is unseen, but that energy is affecting our outside world. Is affecting the outside world. It's kind of like if you walk around angry, you know what I'm saying? How you gonna make people feel when they run into you? Because if you are angry on the inside, it's gonna show on your countenance. It's gonna show in your behavior. It's gonna show when you speak. It's gonna show when you do things. Okay, so understand that what you're doing now is creating the life that you're living. And that's why they say, if you want to bring about a change, all you got to do is just do it. Just do it. But in our minds, we make it complicated because we think, we're not even thinking. We assume and we rely on the information that's been put in there, programmed in there. You know what I'm saying? We rely on that to determine whether we should do something or not do something, or think about something or not think about it, or how we're going to think about it, or how we're going to perceive it. Okay? So, with that being said, it's important to learn how to live your best life. And I'm going to say your best life versus saying live your life for who you are versus what you've been taught or who you've been taught that you are. Okay? Because the reason why I say verse that is because you might not know who you are. So you don't know how to live. You got to know who you are to know how you need to live. Or you just going with the flow. See, it's about connecting with, what do I want? What does Murrell Bey want? What does Latif Obadike Il want? You see what I'm saying? At the end of the day, what do I want? And whatever it is that I want, I got to sit down and I got to think about it. Okay, if this is what I want, then how am I going to get this? Okay? and what steps I got to take, what I need to learn. You see what I'm saying? And then I got to invest time, resources, whatever I have to see that I accomplish what it is that I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to have, what I'm trying to unfold, what I'm trying to accomplish. But here it is, I'm saying all of this. I'm saying all this because I have learned who I am. And I had to go through a process to learn who I am, pieces at a time, and continue going out making mistakes because I don't see the bigger picture. But I got a little bit, and that little bit is what I got to survive off of until I can gain more. That's why it's important. Don't see, a lot of people think, excuse me. Okay, excuse me for the interruption. Uh, and that thought kind of like just floated, but we'll grab it. Uh, yeah, what I yeah, a lot of people think that when you come into an organization or you learn something new, or if you're going to commit yourself to being a Christian, Muslim, or Moor, or whatever it is, that you have to be perfect. I don't know, for some reason people think it. I've been told it 1,000 times, or it's been shared with me 1,000 times. They got this high expectation. Okay. The proof right there is that you live in low. You see what I'm saying? You got to know that you live in low if you think you gotta be perfect to be in the religion. That's just a telltale sign, how we tell on ourselves when we don't pay attention because we're not listening. We're not moving slow enough. Okay. But I'm gonna point this out. We feel comfortable being understanding that we live in low because that we have company. We have other people that's doing the same thing that's making us comfortable with doing what we're doing. So, fam, I say that to say, who wants to be comfortable with doing less? If you come to realize that you're comfortable with less, it's no wonder things ain't worked out for me. So that's the reason why you got to take charge of your life and stop relying on that comfortability of what everybody else is doing and comparing yourself to them as far as what you should be doing. Because you want more than the next person. You don't want the same thing. So you can't do what they do. You see what I'm saying? You can't hang where they hang at, so to speak, because they generate a low vibrational energy, a relaxing energy where you don't have to do nothing. If you want something, you have to be doing something. So I'm saying it's important that when you got goals, you got to hang with people that got goals. Why? Because of the energy. It's going to inspire, motivate, encourage. It's going to do all that you need as you excel into your new life. You know what I'm saying? Into your new being, into your new development, into your new baby, into your new growth. You know what I'm saying? Into something new and better. But see, often we want something better, but our comfortability, it hasn't changed. You know what I'm saying? So since the comfortability hasn't changed and we haven't accomplished anything, that's because there's no activity. You're comfortable. So ask yourself, why are you comfortable but complaining? You're physically comfortable because sometimes, see, we can imitate somebody else and not realize we're imitating them and find ourselves imprisoning ourselves or limiting ourselves or subjecting ourselves or preventing ourselves from accomplishing what it is we want deeply inside. That's why you got to watch the company you keep. Because if you let the devil in, guess what he going to do? He going to bound you. So anything that you're trying to do godly, he going to distract you from it. So you can't willingly let him in your world, in your life, when you're trying to be about God. It's a contradiction. You set yourself up for all kinds of confusion. And we do that with our mates, when we choose our mates. We do that when we choose our partners. We do that when we choose the people we want to sleep around with, because people play that game, sleep around game, But see, all the things you do prove and show your value. You can't obtain anything of value if you don't value anything. Because by you not valuing anything, your energy is being used to pick up all those things that you don't need. So when you get running something that you do need, your hands is full. And you're not willing to let these go to receive what it is that you really need, because what you want has a greater power over you. And we got to realize this about ourselves. That's why it's important to take time out and sit and not just pray, which is you talking to the Most High, but it's important after you pray. And I'm saying after you pray. I say it's important to meditate. Because see, you already told God what you want, what you think, and what it is that you need to be a better servant. Now, after you do all that, sit back and meditate and receive God's answer, the Most High's answer, your Creator's answer. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever enlightenment or knowledge and wisdom that he or she or them or whatever choose to bestow upon you. In other words, meditate and allow the universe to give back to you. Because in your prayers, you gave out to the universe. Now meditate and let it all come in. See, they didn't teach you that part. Just taught you to just throw out, and just expect something to come back. No, we have to control everything. Why? Because we are everything. Because what it is that you're praying to is not outside of you, it's within. Yeah, you are that one. You know what I'm saying? That they've been hiding from you all this time. You are your answer. You are your savior. You are your success. You are your abundance. It's you, fam. You have to go within you and use all that you got to be successful. You have to rely on you. You have to clean up. Purity comes before love. Okay? Purity comes before love. So you can't love and have a lot of trash around. You can't love and have a lot of dirt and dust around. You know what I'm saying? Because God don't enter no filthy house, right? The Most High don't enter no filthy house, right? So if that's the case, then your house can't be filthy, and you turn around and profess to be about the Most High, the Holy One. Because when people look and see, they see contradiction. Because somebody misled you, somebody misdirected you, somebody gave you the wrong teachings. They might have meant well, and some might not have meant no good at all. They meant you a downfall. But I guarantee you that the first person that handed down meant you harm. You know what I'm saying? Because it didn't create a whole lot of damage, okay, by not telling the truth, okay? And I'm going to share this with y'all real quick. The truth is so fine that when you have a conversation with one with the truth, there's going to be a whole lot of correction in what you say. Because by you not knowing the truth, when you go to express yourself, you're going to use words that don't fit there. You're going to use words that don't mean what you're trying to say. You know what I'm saying? Because this is how we've been blocking ourselves because of the lies and the misbeliefs and misconcepts and the programming and the indoctrinations. You know what I'm saying? We see from these things. So when we come into the light of truth, you know, if we're paying attention, it's going to shed the light on these lies. You can't keep holding on to the lies. You got to let them lies go like it's burning fire. You know what I'm saying? It's hot. Drop it like it's hot. You know what I'm saying? And accept the cold truth. You know what I'm saying? You know? Because the cold can be soothing. It can be comfortable if it ain't too cold. Okay? It's got to be just right. And the truth is just right. You know? But hot, you got to let it go. You can't hold on to that. You ain't supposed to hold on to it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't designed that way. Same way it wasn't designed for you to be evil or be wicked. You know what I'm saying? Or to live a lie. It's intended for you to have the truth and be free. You know? And anybody that ain't offering freedom, they can't be from the Most High. The proof is right there in the pudding, family. We just got to learn to pay attention. But who are you? You know what I'm saying? Who are you? We have to self-identify because we already been identified. You know what I'm saying? So we already been identified and things are not right, then that's one of the things that has to be corrected. You have to put on the public record your nationality, your identity to counter the false identity that's already on the public record about you. You know what I'm saying? See, you living a lie in the public and don't even realize you living a lie or you representing a lie. All that information on your ID, you know? There's so much falsehood on there that you don't even know about because you ain't educated about it. But that truth about that ID will set you free. The truth about it. It will set you free from the condition that you think is normal that you perform on a daily basis. See, fam, we got to be careful who we trust. We got to starting with ourselves. You don't need to be trusting nobody when you can't be trusted to be choosing to trust somebody. So that's why I said everything starts back to you, fam. You are the light. You are the source. You are your savior. You are the one that's going to make whatever happen in your life or whatever occurs in your life that you want to occur. You have that power to dictate that. But you got to claim the power. You got to know who you are in order to tap in to your source, to your wealth, to your abundance. Knowledge of self is something that has been denied to us in a way. You know what I'm saying? For a long time. I had to go penitentiary to get it. That's why I'm proud that I went to penitentiary, because I got it. It was part of my life journey. You know, a lot of people think it's crazy to say something like that. Well, you know, it is what it is. Your life is what it is. You where you at because of the decisions that you made versus decisions you could have made. You know, where it would have turned out better. You know, but sometimes we stubborn, we set in our ways, and you know, we have free will. So we go through what we got go through in order to learn the lessons that we got to learn in order to make better decisions. But you can't be on that path if you're around people who are comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Comfortable meaning relaxed, meaning no activity. So you want something. You know what I'm saying? You crave for something. You need activity. You don't need to be relaxing. So you're in the wrong company. You need to find people of like mind and bounce ideas off of them. Sure. You know, and you'll find yourself helping each other come up out of the condition that y'all both in, you know what I'm saying, and make it to where y'all trying to go. That's when you really sincerely, you know, about making a change. See, and that's another thing. Some of us haven't learned how to be serious with ourselves. And that's why we stagnated. That's why we stuck in our situations. It's our thinking that's really stuck because we can't think our way out of the condition as of yet. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not making the right choices. We keep doing the same thing over and over again until you come to realize, hold up, I got to try something else. It'll dawn on you when you're tired of doing the same thing. Whatever it is that you're doing, whatever level, height, aspect, condition, color, you know, whatever, you know, aspect that you know, experiencing, it can be changed. It can improve. You know what I'm saying? You can learn, and that's the main thing about whatever situation you're in. Learn about that situation, the positive and the negative about it. You know what I'm saying? The high and the low about it, the ins and the outs about it. You know what I'm saying? Know what it is that you're into, and then learn what's uncomfortable about it, what's comfortable about it, and weigh it out and make a decision. Don't keep complaining about it, you know, because really some people like to complain because it's like it's a comfort. It's a comfort because you don't got to do nothing, even though you are exerting some energy, you know, but it's worthless energy because at the end of the day, what do you get? A headache, drained, exhausted, you know, and still in the same situation. That's why when you have problems or when a problem arises, your first response, and it's up to you how you respond. You know, people think that just because you incline to respond a certain way that you got to keep responding that way. No, you just found comfort and keep doing it that way. You know, see, grown-ups and when children are ready to mature, you know, they put childish things away. You know what I'm saying? Because they maturing. They tired. You know, they want to advance. They want something better. They want something different. They're ready to naturally evolve into their greatest self. Okay, because it's a natural thing to change. When you stop changing, you relaxed. No activity. In other words, you're successful in what it is that you want. And you got people that's relaxing that's not really successful, but they acting like they successful because what successful people do, they relax. They don't got to do nothing. They secure, you know? So if you're not secure, you're supposed to be moving. You know what I'm saying? Because activity secures. Because you're working towards securing. You know, that's your responsibility. And you got to do that in every aspect of your life. You know what I'm saying? So, knowledge of self. Because whatever you do, you have to do it. Who is it that's doing this thing? What is the identity? Because everybody wants to know who you are when you go places to do business. And if you're not representing right, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it will determine whether or not you get that business. Okay? On different levels. Okay? So you want to self-identify, and then when you put on a public record who you are, you come to learn that you fit in a category different than others just by knowing who you are. That's the same way you want to go start a business, okay? And you put, I'm gonna use this for example. You put on your application that you're, say, Native American, okay? Now, Native Americans, they're entitled to certain benefits being a Native American, okay? So by you identifying, it puts you in a class where you can receive certain benefits. It's kind of like how everybody that comes over here from other countries get that 5 year, 7 year, tax write-off. Well, there's been people here all their life that ain't got that tax write-off. You know what I'm saying? Even though they coming to learning how to obtain it, but it's been generations and generations that hadn't received that because they didn't have right knowledge. You know what I'm saying? They didn't know how to identify in a equal way, you know what I'm saying, to receive what it is that the other foreigners was receiving. Okay? Why? It was plain in their face. It's right there. You know, as they say, the proof is in the pudding. It's your identity. How are you identified versus how other people identify? What is the difference? Let's look at it. You identified as Black. You identified as African American. You know what I'm saying? What is a Black to the world? Is there a Black flag? Is there a Black nation? I'm talking about a nation with a flag, with a coat of arms, with a structure. You know what I'm saying? It don't exist. Or we would have unity up under that government. But every other nationality, whether you Egyptian American coming to America, if you're Irish American coming to America, living in America, if you Dutch American, see, Dutch, Irish, and Egyptian, these are established nations of people. You don't have established anything Black, anything African American. You see what I'm saying? So that should tell you something right there. There's something wrong with the titles that you have accepted. And that's another thing you need to look into. Where these titles come from? Don't assume they come from your ancestors, even though they might have been put on your ancestors. Understand there's a difference of being called something and being something. It's a big difference. Until you understand that, you are lost in the sauce, and it's no wonder things is not getting better for you. You know, our people suffer for the lack of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And we keep suffering, you know, because people keep choosing to not seek knowledge. You know, they treat it like it's a greater task than the 9 to 5 that they go to every day. You know, or the church service they go to, or the malls, or the temple, or wherever else they do. See, but all these places teach you that your charity starts at home. Why are you neglecting home and jumping into the church, jumping into the malls, jumping into the temple, and not being taught properly on top of that? I see if you jump in there not knowing, then these people have the responsibility to teach you right. How you can save yourself. How you can improve yourself. How you can elevate yourself. You don't sit in establishment for years and generations and not benefit, but you constantly giving and ain't receiving other than the mental and the spiritual. That ain't how it's supposed to work. Something's wrong with that picture. It's supposed to be reciprocated. You're supposed to give and receive. Don't that make a lot more sense? Sounds more natural to me. So until somebody comes and creates something where it's a cycle, it's reciprocated, then God ain't present. The Most High ain't present. And if ones ain't supporting anything like that, you know what I'm saying? then they ain't right. And if you got an establishment and y'all just taking and taking and taking and not giving back, understand you are recognized for what you are, a thief. Might not be in your intent to be a thief, but you should have knew better because you're responsible for everything that you do. Don't be out here doing something that you don't know what you're doing or how it's affecting the people, the very people that you say you concern and care about. You know, and I ain't saying you got to be a people pleaser either. Okay, but do right and know that you're doing right. Don't take somebody else's thought and run with it. If you're going to use somebody else's thought, you grab pieces from it to add with what you got. If you don't got nothing and you're trying to gather everything from everybody else, you cheating yourself. Because what you create ain't yours. It's everybody else's. You don't have no belief in yourself. You don't have no faith in yourself. It's probably because you don't know yourself. But it's important that you do, because it's important that you believe in you. Because if you don't believe in you, how can anybody else believe in you? And to be around a person that don't believe in themselves, what kind of energy is that do I have around me? You here and you don't serve no purpose because you don't self-identify, because you don't know who you are, because you don't have no confidence in yourself. So it means you follow any and everybody that sound good or appeals to your gratification at the moment. It ain't the way to be. No, it's not the way to be. You know what I'm saying? That's a description of a lost person, of a lost people. In a day and age where information is abundant. That's because, see, you've been taught that the value that you work for on a daily basis is greater than the value of yourself. How can a system be godly when a system is not based in God? And if a system is based in God, then you should have elevated from the time you was born to the time you was, what they call them? I'm just going to say a teenager. You see what I'm saying? You should have made it past your teenage years without experiencing a greater life than what you experienced when you was born, when you came in this world. And I'm telling y'all this, and it may sound strange, but it's really not, because it was done to the majority of the people. It was a conspiracy of a group of men and potentially women who came together and plotted. It's the same way you plot to rob a store. You plot to tell a lie. You plot to do anything sneaky and devilish. You know what I'm saying? It just, you got people that think and plot and scheme on a level that your mind right now can't even comprehend. So you can't imagine it being real. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you easily tricked, because you don't know nothing. You don't study nothing outside what they tell you to study or learn. So you really limited. You ain't did no independent research or study. So you see where you then trapped yourself, arrested your development at? That's why powerful men and women can control your life so easily, because they think and not follow. You see what I'm saying? They think and not follow other people who are relaxing, and you find yourself following and relaxing them, and wonder why you don't got no more than what they got. Instead of thinking and always moving forward. Thinking and always moving forward. Always thinking of how to move forward. Okay, I'm going to do this for this period of time, but I need to build this amount to do this, so I need this as my short-term goal. Let me accomplish that. I need to get $5,000. Okay, I got to work this long to get $5,000. Once I get my 5,000, and it's just ideal. This ain't how I done it. You know what I'm saying? Because my mission and my journey is different. I come to learn, and that's why I always had conflict and trouble. The color of my screen just changed for some reason, but that's why I always had conflict and trouble with finding my way and what it is that I'm supposed to be doing, what it is that I can do best. You know, let me take y'all back, and I'm gonna close this out because it's getting long. Y'all know I can go because I got so much in me. You know what I'm saying? But I got to break it up. You know, and I got to be mindful of that too and be considerate because too much of anything ain't good. Let me share this with y'all first. When within the first couple of years, I think it was when I went to the penitentiary, I met a brother by the name Alexander Zeke. Zeke. Uh, I can't remember his government name, but we called him Zeke, old man Zeke. And he basically orchestrated plays. Okay, it's one of his talents. Okay, but he was highly educational, intelligent, and a wise brother. Okay, and he had about 7 of us out there. Not that he had, but he took the floor and asked a question. You know, and it was about 7 of us out there. And he said, uh, "What? Excuse me." He said, "I can't quote exactly because I'm getting confused about different ways of expressing it." But basically asked, what is it that you have to offer if you was released back into society today? That's what it was. And you had one brother who said, I'm an electrician. You know what I'm saying? So I can do electrical work. Another brother said, man, I do carpentry. You know what I'm saying? I'm a carpenter. You know what I'm saying? Another brother said, I sing, I'm a musician. You know what I'm saying? And everybody got that, and it got to me, and I was like, dang, I said, all I know is I like helping people. You know what I'm saying? You know. But I felt uncomfortable with my answer because it wasn't equivalent or equal to the other answers. You see what I'm saying? Which right now I can look back and see that I was different. I can look back in a lot of situations and see I was different. But I thought something was wrong with me, but really I was different. I had a different mission. I had a different purpose in life. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't understand it yet. You know what I'm saying? So I went in, make a long story short, I'm gonna add this part too. I went in and I started to ask the Most High, man, what is it that I'm supposed to do? What is it I'm good at? And then after that, it was later business, become an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? But that's before I even was able to get in that, because when I got out, that's what my focus was, to do that. But I lacked so much, and then I have came in tune with other gifts and talents that I have, and I'm trying to pursue those too. You see what I'm saying? So I didn't got myself mixed up in all my gifts and talents. Is how to, what should I do, which is really easy because it boils down to what resources do I have to do. You know what I'm saying? And one, being a divine minister, was just speaking to the people. It didn't cost me much. All I got to do is get on YouTube, get on Facebook, get on TikTok, and share my knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You know what I'm saying? But that was something. And I had to do that until I matured and grew and come into what I was supposed to do next. You see what I'm saying? Because so much has transpired. You know, I have evolved so much and in so many ways that, man, I'm starting to understand why people are uncomfortable around me. You know, from the good. that I'm doing. I ain't doing nothing bad making nobody uncomfortable. It's strange, it's weird, it's coming off with something new and something different, something they never seen before, heard before, and it's like making people leery. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, fam, I've only been able to affect people because I have committed myself to my journey, to my purpose, you know what I'm saying, to being who I am. You know what I'm saying? I am a Moorish American, you know what I'm saying? But I'm more than a Moorish American because within being a Moorish American, you find every aspect of yourself, your culture, your language, your names, your God, you know, your mannerism, your morals. You know what I'm saying? You find everything within being a Moorish American, and that's why I promote it because it's been abundant for me. So I know it's going to be abundant for you. And what it consists of is a reflection of you. It's just you don't know who you are to identify with what it is that we're about and know that what you're looking at is a reflection of yourself. And to come back in tune with yourself is to come back home because you was kid. I'm gonna take it back. You was hit in the head at high noon and buried in the shadow grave. In other words, somebody did something to you and took something from you, and you don't remember that it happened or what it was that was taken. So when I come and exemplify that energy of what was taken, you know what I'm saying? When I come displaying headwear and guard that was taken, it's strange to you. But deep down, you feel a connection. You just scared to pursue it because it takes courage. Because that's another thing y'all sense in me that's strange, that makes you uncomfortable. He got too much courage. You know what I'm saying? Where you get all this courage from? You know? But I had to go within to cultivate who I am today. I had to study. I had to step out there on faith. I had to be courageous. I had to set the example, even though nobody else was doing it. I had to step up and say things that was right that nobody else had the courage to do. You know, I had to apologize and make things right with people, sometimes for things that I wasn't even responsible for. You know what I'm saying? Or I wasn't even wrong. But for the sake of peace, I did it. Okay? Because if I don't establish peace, then there's war. You know what I'm saying? And we can always say we're ready to go to war. But do you want to go to war over something petty? You want to go to war over anything? You know what I'm saying? See, you got to be wise about how you handle any and all situations. Okay? Wise. And you get wisdom from the Most High within anything that you want to desire or want to accomplish any, go within and tell yourself and watch what happens. Watch what happens. But there's no happiness. But watch how the energy that you generated, you know what I'm saying? Because you too relaxed. That's why nothing ain't happening in your life. You relaxed. You're not speaking. You're not, because to speak is to operate, is to generate activity, to movement. That's life. If you're relaxing, ain't no life. You know what I'm saying? Not the life that you need, because life is growth, life is evolvement, life is movement. You have to move to get something and you don't got nothing, but you're expecting things. Knowledge of self gonna get you moving. Get your mind moving and thinking out of all that mess that you've been indoctrinated with. And understand that all this indoctrination in your mind is the root to all your problems. and it's going to be the root to the problems that you're going to have trying to come up out of the mess that you've been in for so long. But you got to hold on to the truth. You got to hold on to that drive for knowledge, and you got to keep pushing forward, and don't let that mess get a hold of you and pull you back. But you're going to have mishaps. You're going to fall. You got to get back up. But you're going to make it. But it's an obstacle that you got to go through, a similar one that you've been going through. But see, this is a different one because this obstacle, this transformation is big. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going against, you coming into the truth. You coming into a reality. That means right now the devil's locked on you or got you in the headlock, and you got to get him loose. You got to break them, you know what I'm saying? And it takes strength. It takes courage. It takes activity. It takes exercise of your mind. And until you get that chokehold off of you, you know what I'm saying? You are not free. So it means you got to do whatever you can to get the chokehold off. And sometimes you might have to take a break. You know what I'm saying? You got them. You used to be like this, but you got them, you know, you got it loose. It ain't all the way off of you. You know what I'm saying? So take a break and get your energy back up. You know what I'm saying? Because as long as you just hold them right here, well, you don't let them pull you back. Keep it right here. You know what I'm saying? Be mindful of it. And then when you build your strength back up, you go at it again, fam, until you loosen it, until you free yourself. That's your job. That's your responsibility. That's your mission. And don't get upset. Don't blame nobody else what you go through, because this is life. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody's fault. Something happened way back when with our ancestors. You know what I'm saying? That the devil came in and put that grip around our neck, and you was born with the grip around your neck. You know what I'm saying? Or let's say you weren't born with the grip, but they eventually put that yoke around your neck. You know what I'm saying? And imprisoned you, indoctrinated you when you came, because when you came in this world, you was perfect. You was perfect. You was pure. You was God in purest form. Okay. But then you was contaminated by your upbringing. And that's when that devil joke wrapped around your neck. So now you got to take all that and you got to unwrap it. And it can be very emotional. It could be traumatizing. You know what I'm saying? But you have to survive. You have to free yourself. So you have to go through whatever you got to go through to free yourself, fam. Peace, love, and happiness, fam. That's all I got that I want to share at this time for the sake of preserving the time and being grateful for the little time we have. You know what I'm saying? And not abuse it. Okay. Peace, love, and happiness. I pray and hope that my knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, you know what I'm saying, inspired, motivate, or inspired you to be a better you. You know what I'm saying? Inspired you to bring about a change in your life. Whatever change you see fit. Okay. This is Moorish thought, you know what I'm saying? Sharing knowledge, wisdom, and understanding and understanding into the science of self. Okay. Peace, family. Y'all have a great rest of y'all Friday. And by the way, happy Holy Day, Friday. Friday Holy Day for all mobs all over the world. So I'll be back later on with a Holy Day service. Peace, family. Have a great one.